This is our Wednesday night channeling, number 192. Let's have a quiet time before we start. Let's close our eyes, relax our body, and go within into the inner realms of love and light, and lift our thoughts upward in vibration to those beautiful realms where those higher beings come from to be with us on Wednesday nights. Let us feel their presence here among us. Let us feel our love mingling with their love that they're projecting to us. Our teachers and guides are here, and those who have come to attend, just as we have from the other dimensions, to learn and to grow, to have a greater understanding. Let us feel the oneness of life and the beauty and the joy of knowing that we are all one family, the whole of life. Thank you, Father. Well, my pen got away from me again tonight and wanted to write. So our class on this Thanksgiving Eve is called Learning Wisdom. What? We incarnate on these lower dimensions to learn. Through this learning, it is possible to gain in spiritual wisdom, to grow in spiritual wisdom. The process of learning on these lower dimensions, or could we say dimensions of less light, can be easy or difficult. It is up to the individual. We make it difficult through the lack of understanding, or could we say the inability to see the light of understanding given. As the light of is unaccepted, we create less light visible to our consciousness, even though it is always there. The ability to see and understand the laws of life comes from within. The light of understanding is always bright within. When you take your attention off the when you take your attention of thought power that carries the light, the life force, from the outer five sense world and turn it within, the answers are always waiting for you to discover. Gratitude from the heart is the door opener to the inner worlds of light and love that is of God. As you have divine light and love to guide you on the path, the path is always upward. There was revelation, this word discover. The last part of it is cover. And so the first part is this. So it's taking the cover of darkness off of the light, letting the light shine. That was interesting. I just saw it as the writing came. I never thought of it before. Discover means to uncover. Let us see what we have waiting within. Good evening, my dear ones. This is Don, coming to you from these divine love at realms that brings you the light of understanding. It is my joy to be your doorkeeper and to keep the door of light and love open to you as the teachers come and bring their message that helps you to enlighten yourself and to bring more light into your consciousness. Our teacher tonight is Eloah, and he is here in all of his glory and splendor. I release now to him. God bless you, each one, my dear ones. It is a joy, as Gadon says, to be in your midst. And on this eve of Thanksgiving in your country, let us be grateful for this ability to come together and be together in one in your conscious awareness on these weekly meetings. It always brings a lot of light in this area, not just in this center, but in the whole area when we come together on these weekly meetings, because there are many, many more than you know who come from these dimensions to learn as you are learning. They come because they did not have the chance to learn. These are the ones who are in between incarnations and who are learning here, and most of them will reincarnate at their time that is right for them. But as they come and sit in with you and see how you are learning and hear the words that are spoken from God through us, they are enlightened. And this enlightenment is carried into their next incarnation. This enlightenment that they are receiving while they are here comes with them when they are born again into another body and take on the responsibility of learning and growing or going the other way. The ones who come to classes like this are of your generations to come and are of the new age. The new age we talk about a great deal because it is such an important thing, and it is very important for you to remember to be grateful that you are in the physical at this time, that you are here to learn and to grow and have the opportunity to be a part of the beginning of this Aquarian age, the time, the greatest time to be in the physical in the history of this planet. I tell you, my dear ones, gratitude is a very powerful force. It is almost next to the force of divine love, because when you are grateful, you are opening your heart to God and saying thank you for life. Thank you for this experience of being that you have given me. You are saying to God, I love you, and I am grateful for all the wonderful and beautiful things that you have given me. And I am grateful also for the things that I have given myself, even though they seem to be trouble and problems at times. I know that they are learning tools. My dear ones, remember this. You create your own reality. You have heard this many times. And everything that happens in your life, God has given you the freedom to create. And when you create the disturbances and what you call trouble and problems, you have the opportunity to flex your spiritual muscles and rise above this. This is the way that you grow in a spiritual sense, is to rise above this misunderstanding about the laws of life. And that is simply what it is. It is not evil. It is not bad. It is just misunderstanding. When you can understand this, when you can take it into your consciousness and live it throughout your days, then you will have overcome the world. I tell you, there is nothing more important in your whole life than for you to understand the divine laws of life and to practice them in your every thought, word, and deed. Yes, it is difficult at times for you because of your old habit patterns and because of the conditions around you that you allow into your consciousness. But I tell you this, my dear ones, you have the choice to allow them into your consciousness or to not allow them. This is where you grow or do not grow, is your choices that you make, your choices of your every thought, your choices of how you react to what is happening around you, to what others are doing or not doing, your choices of loving or hating. It is much easier, my dear ones, to love when you understand. And you who come to these classes, you who take the time to be here on a weekly basis and to bring in, open your consciousness and your minds to receive the light of understanding, you are growing. You are rising higher in frequency, and especially when you live it in your day-to-day life. And you are learning to do this. You who are regulars, you who come on a regular basis and who take time out through the day to make contact with these dimensions, whether it is your hypnosis or whether it is your meditation or just sitting still and enjoying nature or watching the clouds, this is taking your attention, you see, your power of thought that carries the life force. You are taking it away from the outer world and taking it within, where the real power is, where the real reality of life is. This outer illusion feeds the little self. The outer illusion does not feed your soul. The inner reality feeds your soul. And when you take time, maybe 3 or 4 times a day, and you can afford this much, my dear ones, to 10, 15 minutes, go within in whatever way appeals to you and make that contact with the source of all that is, you are moving upward on the path. Yes, you can also do this by recognizing God in the outer world. This is some of your thoughts that are coming through. God is everywhere present, in everything, in everyone, in every situation, in every encounter. And as you understand this and see God everywhere you look, no matter what it appears to be in the outer physical world, then you are seeing truth instead of illusion. And you can look at the same situation, the same individual, and see illusion or see truth. When you think of it as bad, 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 or evil, then you are seeing illusion. But when you think of it as life expressing itself and growing and learning through many varied experiences, then are you seeing God? For God's power and God's life force is behind everything that is in your universe. When you learn to realize this, when you learn to recognize it, then you are living the life. You are living the life that God can express through. You are living the life of love and joy and beauty. These are the attributes of God, and this is what God wants you to bring forth on your physical plane through your thoughts, through your feelings, your moods, and your attitudes. Peace, joy, love, the beauty of life. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and you can see beauty or you can see ugliness looking at the same thing, because God is everywhere present. And when you look beyond the outer illusions that the race thought has taught you to think, and you say, no, I think for myself. I choose to have the thoughts that I want, and to let God's beauty and joy and love be in my every thought, word, and deed, and be grateful for the understanding that I can do this, that God's power and His love is more powerful than anything else, because it is everything that is. And the only opposition to this is the negative thoughts that you, as you call yourself humans, and mankind have created on this physical plane. And through your erroneous thinking, you have allowed yourself to believe that there is lack. And so you bring about lack in the consciousness or the race thought through your medium, as you call it, through the news, through gossip, through misunderstanding of passing the word that the stock market is down, that jobs are being lost, and all of this. My dear ones, look at it in a different way. The new age is here, and things are changing rapidly, and the change is accelerating. Of course, people are losing their jobs. because this is change. You have to have difference if you bring about change. If you bring about growth, you have to have change. And so, as some of your plants that produce a lot of things are slowed down, or go out of business, some are losing their livelihood for their physical well-being. So it appears. My dear ones, there is no lack. And when mankind as a whole on your planet can understand this, then he will start reaching for the pearls of understanding and wisdom instead of tromping them in the dirt, reaching for the red plastic beads. And this is what the masses are doing. And I would have you to see this picture and to understand that there is an abundance of life everywhere present, in every molecule, in every atom. Life force is prolific, and it is constantly increasing itself. So there is more life, there is more abundance continuously. It is just man's inability to see this, and his programming, as you call it, has brought about the belief of the masses and caused what is you call race thought, and so it's passed on from one to the other through your medium and through the statistics that you that may be correct and may not be correct, that you hear broadcast. You see, this fasting from the news is sometimes good. Yes, you need to know what is going on your planet. You need to understand and to realize what is happening, but you also need to know the truth and realize that in this new age there is what appears to be turbulence and what appears to be disturbance that disturbs the routine of your past. My dear ones, your world of the past has ended many times in the last 100 or 150 years. The world has ended that was known before. The frontier, for example, in the Western times of the Western days, has ended. The civil war that you had among yourself brought about a great change in your country and brought about a new world. That old world ended. So the end of the world is coming many times because change is continually coming to your planet through the growth and through the great experience of this new age. Judge not by appearance, as the Master said, my dear ones, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous means right useness of the law, seeing and understanding the universal law that is continually increasing life, that life force is continually increasing, and to increase it needs to change. So judge not by thinking that change is bad. It is good. It is neither good or bad, I am corrected, but it is life. And as you can understand this, as you can realize this, you do not be concerned, or you do not allow fear to interfere with your harmony and your rhythm and your balance. I tell you, my dear ones, God is always present there with you. You are always in the hands of God. God is upholding you in every way that you will let him. But when you interfere with the illusion of fear, God has given you free will, and he himself cannot overcome or to take away this free will from you. If you decide to be afraid, if you decide to be depressed, then be depressed, because that is your choice. And God will not interfere with that, because he has given you the freedom. And through giving you this freedom, my dear ones, you are learning and growing. It may seem like a long, slow process to you, but if you could see from these higher realms that we come from, you would see that your world is moving very slowly relative to the higher dimensions. But at this particular time, it is accelerating, and this acceleration is bringing about change, and this change is bringing about different things in your world. Learn to see the change of people losing their jobs, of companies going broke, of banks going broke, as something that is constructive in the overall picture. Learn to understand that you cannot stand still in life. Life does not stand still. It is continually moving and growing and expanding. And you are life, my dear ones. And so you are continually growing and expanding. But you do have free will. And if you decide to be upset and depressed and try to stand still, then you crystallize, in a sense, and miss the mark and miss out on a lot of wonderful and beautiful experiences, because you have chosen to close your eyes to the truth. You have chosen to not allow the light of understanding into your consciousness. You have chosen to be afraid. And believe me, my dear ones, you do choose every thought that you think. Much of it is on the unconscious or subconscious level, but at some period you have conditioned yourself to think in this way. So you have chosen, whether it is conscious or unconscious, it is your doing. When you take responsibility for this, when you understand that you are the creator of your life, that God has given you the freedom. When you left home, he gave you the freedom to create your life and learn through your so-called mistakes. Learn through going against the current of life and hurting yourself and causing yourself a little pain. You learn, and then you understand, and you allow the light of understanding to come into your consciousness, and you move forward on the path of light through this understanding. And gratitude, it is a beautiful thing that your country has set aside one day a year to be grateful. And it hurts us when we hear you call it Turkey Day. It should be Thanksgiving Day. And some of the, we should not be hurt by this, but we understand that you lack the understanding of the power of gratitude. And I'm not talking about you who are in this circle. I'm talking about the masses who call things by different names and lack the understanding. When you are grateful, you send out a vibratory rate that brings more of what you are grateful for to you. This is automatic. This is putting the law into action, and it does bring back to you that which you project out, because you are the creator. You are the creator. Remember this, and remember it with your every thought, with your every word, with your every deed. And remember that feelings and moods and attitudes, desires, all come under the heading of thought, and that do not have to be verbalized to bring about the harmony in your life or the lack of it. This has seemed tonight, like a rehashing of old things and of bringing you to task, in a sense, to remind you, but my dear ones, it is done in pure love, for we do understand. We do understand each and every one of you. We understand that you are doing the best that you can at the moment, that you are coming to classes like this to have a greater understanding, and you are moving forward on the path of light, and you are learning to love. And it is very important that you remind yourself to start with yourself when you learn to love, because if you do not love yourself, how can you love anyone else? You see, this is not being selfish. It is recognizing the truth that you are life and that you are the creator, you are God. And if you love yourself, then you love God and you love life and you love all others, because you are one with God. You are one with all life, and you're one with all others. And you can be grateful for this understanding. We tell you this many times, these things, but it is important that you have this understanding, that you grow into the realization that you are doing everything that happens in your life to yourself. Let us pause at this time and give you opportunity to express your gratitude, or to ask questions, or to make comments as you would like. Are there questions or comments that you would make tonight? Would someone reach Donald's water for him? Thank you.
I'd like a further explanation on something, if you could. I was wondering why it is that some mornings you wake up and you're really refreshed, and other mornings you feel like you don't want to get out of bed and you're exhausted, like you hadn't even gone to sleep. Like last night, I woke up about 5:30 in the morning, and I was just wide awake, and I did my spiritual exercises, and then I drifted back to sleep, and about 8:30 woke up, and it was just like I could hardly drag myself out of bed.
Yes.
I was wondering why that is.
there are more than just you that have this experience. And let me say to you that consider not going back to bed, and continue to do something constructive. You do not need as much sleep as you think you do, some of you.
Is it better to take like a nap during the day then if you feel tired?
It is better, yes, to take short periods of rest. Not too long, but short periods of rest. And when you sit down to go within, ask to be renewed and revitalized. And if you are open and receptive to the inner realms of this power of revitalization, in just a few minutes you can be completely revitalized. It may take a little practice, but you can do this. You sometimes sleep to escape this physical realm. And you see, when you run away from something, you are missing the mark, because you're running away from the opportunity to understand and to grow and to receive more light. Does this help your understanding?
Yes, it does. When I think back on it, sometimes if I take a nap for 15 minutes, maybe a half hour, I'm refreshed. But if I sleep longer than an hour, then I'm more tired when I get
Yes.
to the nap.
Yes. It does not take that much time, but you see, when you leave your body and for too long a period of time, and everyone is a little different in this area, or in every area, but you will know what is best for you. And when you are away from your body too long, then it grows a little stiff, and it doesn't want to get going again. You see, the life force comes through the umbilical cord while you are asleep. But when you enter the body again, the whole self of you is there, and the life force is in much greater abundance. And when you are away from your body longer than is necessary, then your body takes a little, what you think of as time, to recondition itself back to the physical plane. Does this make sense to you?
Yes, it does. The next part of the question which you brought to mind is there, it seems sometimes that when we get up early at between 5 and 7, it's so much easier to do our spiritual exercises, and it just seems so much more calm and peaceful, even though, it's not, I don't hear any traffic. But then the later you get up, it seems like it just kind of changes. Is there something to that?
Yes. You see, the business world of your planet has gone into gear. The times when the world is slowed down, your part of the world anyway, and the business and the marketplace is not active, and all of these thoughts about lack and everything are quieted down, when a majority of the people of your planet are away from their body and you call sleep, it is much quieter. Now, this brings to mind something that I want to express to you, is this time of year, on the holidays, as you call them, is a much better time to send more God's love, because people are more open at this time of year. They are celebrating the birth of Jesus the Christ, and they are much more open to giving and receiving. And if I can ask you to consider sending more divine love at this time of year, it will be received much easier, and much more of it will come to a greater understanding and growth in the masses. The masses of entities on your dimension are growing a little bit, whether it appears so or not. Just being in the physical is an experience, and through whatever experience they're having, it will lead to growth. It may take several lifetimes, but there is no such thing as time, my dear ones. And if you could learn to understand that it does not matter how long it takes for you to grow to God, because He does not measure time as you do. He gives you complete freedom, and He teaches us to do the same, to give you complete freedom and love you no matter what experience you're going through. No matter what experience any entity on this planet is having, he is loved by God, or she is loved by God. Remember this. God never stops loving anyone, not even your dictators and those who are responsible for the physical death of many. God loves them equally as the greatest saint in your thinking, because He does not judge you. Remember this, God does not judge you for anything that you do or do not do. He just loves you. And He continues to give you the life force as much as you are open to receive. And that is what we started talking about in the writing. Your ability to be open to receive the life force and to receive God's love and light of understanding is up to you. And it doesn't matter when you start, but it does matter that you do start. And it doesn't matter how fast you go, but it does matter that you continue to try. And if you try, we are there to give you extra power of love. Every little bit that you try, we can add to that. You see, the free will is a very touchy thing, and we cannot invade your free will. But when you make the effort to grow and to understand, then we can come in and add to that and help you. Are there other questions this evening?
Well, I have another question on somebody else in that. And I read a book about opening up to channeling. And in the book, they said that so many people have misconceptions about channeling, that they feel that you have to be born with this special talent to be a psychic. And it said that that might have been true years ago, but that in this day and age, there's so many entities from the other sides that are willing to help open up those channels for channeling, to even if it's through your higher self or through other entities or whatever. Could you elaborate on that a little?
Yes, everyone has all these abilities. There are no chosen ones. When you say you are born with this, it is because you have developed it at other times and are bringing it through at this particular time. You have earned the right to bring it through at this time. All of you have been one with God in the Godhead many times and have come out on different cycles that take eons and eons of time to come down to the lowest point, and eons of time to come back up to back home completely one with God. And so you have all had everything, all abilities that God is, and there are no chosen ones. You are chosen because you choose to follow the path. And those who appear to be born with these gifts have earned the right to bring it in with them at that incarnation because they have learned certain lessons at other times that this will not interfere with their learning process. Each one of you makes a plan with the help of these higher beings that you call the Lords of Karma to come into an incarnation and make a loose overall plan, because you have free will when you get here to either work the plan or not. And so some come in with part of their plan to be open, have these extra senses available to their conscious awareness, and to be able to use them, and sometimes to help other people, and sometimes they are misused. But that is the choice of the individual. Have I made myself clear on this?
Thank you.
Are we all going back down again? No, we're moving forward. We're going back home. But do you repeat it and go completely down again to the lowest level?
You always go back home, and you're on your way up there now. You have come down to the lowest level, and you're on your way back home to God in completeness. And then it will be decided if you come out on another cycle. And you may stay at home in that complete oneness and harmony that is completely indescribable to your understanding it where you are in consciousness now. You may stay there for long periods of what you think of as time. And then you say, well, we've had our visit now, and it's time to learn something new, and you come out on another cycle, but it is always a higher cycle, a different experience.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yes. And until you reach the fullness of the understanding that God is, and then you take your consciousness and you become a God in your own right and have a universe to rule over. Now this is a little heavy for some to hear and to understand, and it may be eons and eons and eons of time before this happens to any of you, but this is what you're moving toward in your journey through eternity.
Don't we all have an entity to rule over right now? This body we're
You're ruling over yourself, yes. And in a sense, you yourself are a universe. and this is what you are thinking, isn't it? Is it not? Yes, and
You
through
always have free will within yourself. You always are monarch within your own awareness.
yes, and through this trial and error of ruling over yourself, see, that moves you into greater understanding. And it doesn't matter if you come back 20 lifetimes and go the wrong direction. You will soon, God's love is all-powerful and all-wise, and it will eventually draw you up to greater understanding and not interfere with your free will, because your true nature is God's, is God-like, and that will eventually come through to your conscious awareness. No matter how long you go the wrong direction, eventually that true nature will come forth. But it is up to you, and you can take thousands of years, thousands of lifetimes to go against the grain of life. And then you have all those experiences of learning to understand the law of life and to realize who you truly are. Someone is watching the tape, are they not? Are there any other questions? In your eve before Thanksgiving, my dear ones, I would have you to be especially consciously aware of the many, many things that you have to be grateful for. There are so many things that you take for granted if you will stop to think. Even every breath that you take is something to be grateful for, because it is feeding not only your physical body, my dear ones, but it is feeding your finer bodies as well. And in the ultimate sense, it is feeding the soul, because there's much more in what you call air than oxygen and other ingredients that you know of. There's much, much more in this. It is of God, and it contains all, as every atom and every molecule in the whole of life contains all that life is. And when you stop to think of this from your physical point of view, to some it may be astounding, and this is why there are so many, many things in your life to be grateful for. And by expressing your gratitude from the heart, not just by rote, but from the heart, then do you open these doors to the higher dimensions of love and light, and allow much more life force to come through to animate your being and give you the joy of being alive and the understanding of the laws of life and how to apply them in your daily living.
I have a question.
Yes.
Speaking of gratitude and giving thanks, does it make any difference whether you do it silently or whether you do it out loud?
Not a bit. God hears your every thought, your every feeling, your moods, your attitudes, because you see, my dear ones, God is the life force that you are. So there's nothing hidden from God. In your book, the Bible, it says he's aware of every sparrow that falls. And so by saying this, it is meant to say that he is aware of everything and everyone.
Are there times when it is preferable that you do voice it so that others may know that?
Would you repeat this, please?
Is it possible that there are times when you should voice it so that the ones that are in the physical that don't know that you are grateful for their love and their understanding and their sharing with you, that they may know that?
Yes, but it is done at the appropriate time with the correct motive. You listen to the inner guidance to do this, and when to do it and when not to do it. And when you are in the flow of life, going with the current of life, you will know when to express it outwardly and when to keep it to within. But you see, even when you express it inwardly, those vibrations go out from you to the outer world and to others around you, and they pick it up whether they are conscious of it or not. And so each is beneficial to the life force. And these reverberations of love and gratitude that you express go out and out and out to the whole of the universe, my dear ones. You do not realize the power that God's love and expressing gratitude has on the life force currents. You are all powerful as God is all powerful, and you have the freedom to do whatever you choose. And of course the opposite is true also. Are there other questions this evening? This coming together is a show of gratitude for the Father and the work that goes on these dimensions for those who choose to work with your dimension. It is coming together, and just coming in this circle of light is expressing gratitude for the divine love and light that comes from the Father and is expressed through his many, many servants. And we are very grateful to have the opportunity to serve you and to help in any and every way that you will let us. And it does sometimes sadden us, in your terminology, when we see that it appears that you could be a little more open and that you could remember more often to allow us to help you. Those from the realms that I am on know the truth, and so sadden is not the correct word. But we are very grateful when you do open the doors to us to help you, to bring in more light of understanding and give you the opportunity for your soul's growth. Are there other comments or questions this evening?
I can relate to what you just said about opening up. When I'm speaking to my higher self with my husband, I can just feel he has so many questions, and I would just ask him, well, it's not me, but my higher self is urging him to ask those questions, to open the conversation up so that we can bring more energy into the relationship and into our life. But then when I'm opposite that and he's in his higher self, I feel the same way. It's like sometimes I can't come up with any questions, but when you're speaking from that higher view, you can see so much clearer.
Yeah.
Things like from this side, it's a little harder to do.
Well, from this side, as you call the physical plane, is you're distracted by many other things on the physical. And this is why it is good for you to take these times of quietness and go within and make the contact, so that this gives you much more life force, and it brings in the light of understanding and gives you the opportunity to accelerate your growth. And I tell you, there's nothing more valuable to you on this physical plane than how you are with God. And when you go within and take your attention off the illusions of the physical world, you are communing with God, no matter whether it is with me or one of your teachers or guides. It is all God, my dear ones, and it is all life. And when you give this full attention by taking your thoughts away from the physical world to the inner, then the power within you multiplies many times, and your ability to see through the illusions of the world as you go through your day is much greater, and to understand and to do whatever you're doing with a much more ease, and to live your life in a joyful way. Take the opportunity. You do have the time if you decide you want to.
Right in the middle of this irritation and agitation, you can turn and tell yourself to behave.
Yes, you can. And because you are the master of yourself. And the more that you do this, the more dominion you have over yourself. And the more dominion you have over yourself, the more dominion you have over all of life and the universe, because you are the master. And if you choose to take command and think only beautiful, loving thoughts, then that is how your life is, even in the outer physical world. This has been a beautiful time of expressing our gratitude and being together, and in this circle of light, many things have been expressed, and much understanding has come from the higher levels to your level, but also much understanding has come to those who are in the invisible world, as you call it, that have come to learn. Remember to send them love often and to be grateful for their attendance, because they